Beautiful friends, beautiful family. Much love to all of you guys. I hope your week is rocking and rolling in a good way that is appeasing to our Creator. That you guys are protecting your souls, that you guys are guiding your families with the light of the Torah. For those who do not know what the Torah is, it's the first five books of scriptures: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And it is the wisdom of life. It is the gift of life. It is the gift that our Creator has preserved for all of us, for all generations, all times, all peoples. It has never been taken away from us. It has never been abolished. It has never disappeared. It is something for all generations, all times, and all peoples. And Tuesdays are rough days for us, and you don't ever hear from us on Tuesdays because we are up at 3:15 in the morning to try to get out of this place by 4 a.m. And three of us go cruising down and out of the jungles, down the road, and we have been the people that set up this little thing called a gringo market. Now, when you say gringo market, that's not actually a bad word down here, although people are probably offended by it. But down here, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you are a foreigner, you are a gringo. So we go to this bar that has been closed down several hours before this, and thank Yah, it's not an active bar at the time that we are there. There's nobody there, and so the owner has presented us with the keys, and so we get there and start opening up this stinky, sketchy place that obviously is a den of despair and destruction and all sorts of horrible family wrecking things. But that's not why we're there. We're there and we go to this back room and we grab these tables out, and there's about 100 tables. And we pop the tables up in the current positions they are in, and we get chairs out, and we get all this stuff. And about 6:30 in the morning, the first vendors come, and there's vendors from all over the world. There's a lot of white folks. There's a lot of folks from all these different Central America countries. And so we grab all of their stuff out of their vehicles and run it down these big flight of stairs and get it to their tables and have them drive out of the parking lot. As it's something that we don't, or the management per se doesn't allow the vendors to park in the parking lot because that's for customers. And so between 6:30 and about 8:45, it is hectic because there's all these 100 people that come with all their stuff and their wares to sell. And it's been this thing we've been doing now for, I think, 64 times maybe, which means it's been 52 weeks in a year. We take the high Shabbats off, and which is really, really nice because it is such a hectic schedule. So that is our Tuesdays. Now, we actually we do this, and it's not a lot of pay. It's very, very it's not good at all. But we do this because my wife and Eli have a cling food, frozen food company. And we are the only people in this entire country that cares about cling food and cares about the health and lifestyle of people. And so we have all this competition, and they are always serving everybody all this filthy, filthy food, the pork and all the lobster and shrimp and all this stuff that is disease ridden and makes your life much shorter than it should be. And it's something that we do so that we have a good spot at this table, because when 9 o'clock hits around, is from 9 to 12, you have hundreds of shoppers that come around, and they browse the markets, and they look and they see, and that is the main place that we're able to sell our wares. And because of our work and our hard work into this, we've basically become very entrenched into this little gringo market. Now, something that happened yesterday, which is something that I would like to bring to your attention, is a incident where this gal, she was she speaks Spanish and English, and she was standing next to one of my twins, and Jaden, precisely. And Jaden has a little table where he does computer repair, and he does all this stuff. And so that's his wares. And around the corner is where Eli sells sells the food that his mother and he make. And now this gal, she is she's a larger gal. And when I say larger, I would say she's solid 450. And in life, you have probably run across the bigger gals that are they're not, how do I say this right? They're not Kodesh by any means, right? Like they have had hundreds of men. They have had all of this stuff. And so my kids have all been very much sheltered into the effect that they've never held a woman's hand. They've never kissed another woman other than mom. And they have never been on a date. The twins are 21 years old. The youngest is 18 years old. And we've been in Torah now for, I don't know, 11 or 12 years probably. And because we are in Torah, the boys understand that there is no relationships if it is not something that is going to lead to a marriage. There's none of these let's go out and have a fling, or let's go sleep with a woman, or anything of the sort. And so this gal was sitting there. Unfortunately, her table's right next to Jaden, and there wasn't a lot of people there per se yesterday. And it was sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not. And she's sitting there and she talks. She's like, "Hey, you want to go to this thing coming up? It's called Filthy Fridays." And she pulls up this thing on Instagram, and we have always, when we see women that are skimpily clothed, I don't think skankily is the right word. Maybe it is. Everybody turns their eyes. It's one of the things I've done my entire marriage, is when I see something that is inappropriate or something that would be lusted after, I turn my head, I look away. There's the grass isn't greener on the other side of the fence because the guy with the backpack of Monsanto has just come by and sprayed that grass. So you start eating that grass and you poison yourself and you poison your family. And so he had to look away. She's like, hey, and she starts talking to him, and they've never had a conversation before. And unfortunately, like I said, they were right next to each other at this table. And she's like, "Hey, Filthy Fridays." And what he could decide from Filthy Fridays is he decided 3 times a year down here they have this, and it's essentially an orgy. It's essentially where everybody goes and it's a demonic time. And so he said that the girls on Instagram were nearly naked, and she started talking to him. She's like, "Hey, you want to go dancing, and you want to go into the city, and that there was a lot of conversation about this stuff." And he's like, no, thank you. She's like, "Well, hey, what's your Instagram?" And he's like, "I don't have Instagram." She's like, "Oh, what's your Facebook?" He's like, "I don't have Facebook." She's like, "Well, what about Twitter?" "We don't have that either." And so she continues on, and the best that she got was a business card for the computer. And he's like, "That's the only number I got." And she's like, "Well, why don't we go out and do something? Do you drink? Do you smoke marijuana?" And another guy that knows us very, very well came over, and he was explaining to her, because it was a very, very odd conversation. He's like, "Jaden has one of the most strict diets that you will ever find. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't do any of this stuff." And she's like, "Oh." And she's like, "Well, what do you do when you get home?" And he's like, "Well, I exercise, I work out, and then I go to bed." She's like, "What time do you go to bed?" It's like about 7:30, 8. And that's about time all of us go to bed. We have a pack of dogs, and we get everyone to bed. I mean, we live like an old person's life. So she's like, "Wow." She's like, they go on down this conversation of cling food. She's a whopping girl. She's a big gal. And she's like, "Oh, I eat very healthily." And she's like, why don't we go up on the side of the mountain? We'll take a walk." And we're like, there's zero way that she would ever be able to like even come close to the kind of exercise routines that we do. And she was, telling us how healthy she eats. And then she goes into, she's like, what religion are you? And he's like, we don't have a religion. She's like, well, do you guys eat pork? And he's like, no, we don't eat any of that. She's like, well, Paul said if you bless the food, you can eat what you want. He goes, where's that at in scriptures? She's like, somewhere. And then she goes off onto Peter's dream. So it doesn't matter what language you are at, what Spanish, whatever. Everybody's heard this Christian rhetoric. Everybody's heard these doctrines of demons. And everybody's eating unclean food because somebody somewhere says, oh yeah, all food has been made clean. So she's like, it was like he stuck there for several hours with this ginormous gal that was hitting on him and being extremely explicit. And she's like, well, down here, and I'm telling you guys a lot of information. I'm sorry I have to do this, but there is a point to this. She says, down here, and she's like, you've never been on a date? You've never, what's wrong with you? And she's like, down here for like $15, you can get a lot of experience. And he kept messaging me this stuff because once the market begins, then my job is essentially done. And all I can do is I can sit back and observe, and I can watch my kids, and I can, there's a lot of women that we call the cougars that have always been after my boys. And it's one of these things. By the time she got done, she goes, I have never met anybody like you ever. And he's like, yeah, probably not. And, old proud Papa is sitting out there, and, it's like one of these things. And we were discussing it when we got home, and I told the boys and my wife, I said, scriptures very clearly says most people don't make the kingdom. And based upon that conversation of, one of her things that she said was, well, how are you ever going to get married if you're not out playing the field? And he's like, when the right time comes, our Creator will deliver that girl to me. We'll just know it's the right thing. And I was a very, very proud papa. I was very dismayed at the conversation, and there wasn't much that he could do about that conversation, but he stood his ground. And he was, we come home, the wife and I discuss things like, why doesn't somebody voluntarily take out the trash, right, here at the house? And, we complain about possibly things that don't really make a tremendous amount of difference. Because at the end of the day, like Jaden said, there was no temptation. There was no, it just wasn't happening. And, from the other side of the room, I could see this large gal hitting on him. And I knew from his text, from his phone, that this chick was, filthy. She was a filthy Gentile. And, I've run into people like this before. I've run into the women like this, and it is a very unholy world that we live in too. And all I can say is that when you rise into the life of Torah, when you start understanding the ways of our Creator, you realize that this whole playing the field or endless dates, endless sex, endless immorality, it's a doctrine of demons. It's something that you are giving away a piece of yourself that you can never get back. And it doesn't matter if it's a dude, it doesn't matter if it's a chick. Everybody wants the same thing, right? They want a little bit of pleasure at the expense of your soul, at the expense of an STD, at the expense of sickness that is absolutely plaguing this society. And it doesn't get any better. It only seems to get worse. And, as we are reading through this book of Ezra's, and like I was mentioning to those who follow this reading that we do, I was on I made it 3 days. I was like 3 hours away from making it 4 days on my fast. And yesterday I ate. I ate very lightly. I had a little bag of nuts, and we had some some diabetic stuff for chicken that we have that my wife puts it in almond flour and it's really super good. But I'm back on it today, right? I get up the next day and I'm enjoying this displeasure, this grumbly tummy, this way forward, and that's what our homeboy Ezra is doing. And as we get into this reading today, you know, there's a tremendous amount of evil in this world, and it's not just these terrible people that are chasing our children or trying to violate our children. It is a world of lawlessness. And when you look at the lawlessness of the world and you then look at the Torah and the righteous understanding of the Torah, it begins to fill your heart with the needs of your heart. And the needs of your heart are the wishes of our Creator. It doesn't get to be a better life than the Torah life. And had my kids not been in Torah, had we not known that we don't have relationships outside of marriage, it's just not something that it doesn't happen, because we know that when we do things like that, we are breaking the commandments of our Creator. You know, essentially, according to Torah, if you have a relationship with somebody, that should be your spouse, right? These one night stands and all these things, it's just incredibly evil. And so I went through a lot of that, I guess, to tell you guys that keep your kids in Torah. Keep your kids in the way of Kodesha. Keep your family close. If you are just getting into the Torah, I hope that this is an encouragement for all of you guys, that as you are in Torah, what you will know and what you will gain from Torah is strength. You will see that your lives and your kids' lives and the family that you have when you're keeping Torah, it just changes, right? And there's a lot of us that have come from cheating spouses. There's a lot of us that have had our hearts broken. There's a tremendous amount. But when you give it all up to our Creator, when you are in His way forward, then everything changes, right? We learn so much. And so, guys, let's get into this. What you're looking at right now is you're looking at a limited edition Yah Scriptures. It is 3,153 pages of amazing reading. It has all the extra books. Everybody who has gotten this Scriptures has jumped for joy. I've never had a single complaint in many hundreds of Scriptures that have gone out. As we get to the end of this batch, again, it is limited edition. It is large print, 14.5 font. You will never find another Scriptures as large as this, that you can see all of this, and you have also all the restored books that have been they've tried to hide from us, right? This has been an incredible adventure getting this book out. The paperbacks are probably being printed as we speak. Guys, get these while you can. And you don't have to pay for anything, because you can go to the Google store right now. You can go to the App Store, type in Yah Scriptures, 2 words, and you will find this big blue book that is available free of charge. You can grab this, and it's the same version that we're reading out of right here. And so, guys, if you want to buy this big blue book, you can go to yahscriptures.com. It is available right now. And like I said, I hope it's not a limited edition, but as of right now, it is a limited edition. We don't know what the hand of our Creator has in the future, but we do know that we have these in stock right now, and you can grab these. So let's get into the second book of Esdras right now, and we are through 4 chapters. And as I was telling you guys, the last chapter was an eye-opener for a lot of you guys, and it's something that we were talking about, this matrix that we are living in. And this matrix we are living in, it goes with the whole first of the story that I was talking about, right? In this matrix, it's all about pleasure. It's all about lewdness. It's all about just horrible things that when we are standing in the presence of our Messiah, when we are standing in the presence of our Creator, if we make it that far, we're not going to be laughing at these gym jokes. We're not going to be talking vulgarly. We're not going to be saying things. We're going to be on our very best behavior. And this very best behavior is the same behavior we need to have right now, because every single thing that we say and every single thing that we do is written down on the scrolls of the Shamayim. It's things that we are going to have to be listening to again with a group of people all around us, standing naked before our Creator. And we need to come through this, right? A lot of us have grown up in Babylon. A lot of us have these horrible ways and have, watching terrible movies and terrible things, and it's corrupted us, right? We need to take this corruption and we need to shed it. We need to bring in the light of the Torah. And so let's recap real quick the second Ezra. For those who have never read this book, I'm going to recap this for you so you don't have to get into this. This is the chapter 1 started about the rebuke of Yisrael. Yahuwah the Most High speaks through Ezra to declare his grief and disappointment with Yisrael. Though he delivered them from Mitzrayim, parted the seas, gave them the Torah, fed them in the wilderness, they rebelled and turned to idols. He called them, but they would not listen. Are you guys listening? Are you guys going to listen to the hand of our Creator? Yahuwah declares he will no longer have pity. His inheritance will be given to others. He rejected you, is what Yahuwah says. He will give your house to a people that shall come who have not known me, but will revere my name. And we are in these days right now, right? We are in these days that when the small itty bitty minority of us that truly are seeking our Creator, there's not a lot, right? I live down here in this third world country. I don't know a single other true Torah keeper. We know a whole bunch of fakes. We know people that pretend and that will still tax the people, their little 10%. But as far as legitimate Torah keepers that are here spreading the message, loving our Creator, wearing their seats, looking like the kingdom people, turning their eyes and ears away from this filthy, vile world that we're in, I don't know very many of them. Chapter 2. Ezra has a vision of consolation and the coming reign of Messiah Yahushua. Yahuwah now speaks to the Gentiles who will come to know him. He promises rest, comfort, and a righteous crown for those who endure and believe and keep his commands. Now, that's the thing about the word Gentile, right? There is no house of Gentile, but we don't want to be Gentiles. We want to be part of the kingdom. We want to be Hebrews. The people who have crossed over, the people that have lived in sin, saw sin, and seen the destruction of sin on us and our families and our lives and the environment and the community. We want to come out of it. We don't want to be Gentiles. Being Gentile simply means that you are not in covenant with our Creator. How do we get in covenant with our Creator? Well, we start reading the first 5 books of Scriptures. We start applying them to our lives. They become the most important things in our lives, that we talk about them right now when we get up, when we go to bed. We impress them upon our children so that when there's vile evil that comes their ways, it's just a no-go. It's a no, we're not going to hang out and drink and smoke weed. It's not going to happen. In this second chapter, Ezra also sees a great vision of a multitude receiving crowns from a man taller than all the others, identified as Yahushua, the son of Elohim, who crowned those who confessed his name. Ezra marvels and praises those who stood boldly for the name of Yahuwah and his anointed. And this chapter is a contrast. It's a sharp contrasted one. Where Yisrael fell short, others rise to honor Yahuwah with reverence and are rewarded. Chapter 3. Ezra starts lamenting in the first angelic dialogue. The messenger comes and talks to Ezra. Ezra begins a deep lamentation. He fasts and cries out to Yahuwah, questioning why the wicked prosper while Yisrael suffers, even after all the favor shown them from the beginning, from Adam to Avram, Moshe, David. He asks, this is a quote from Ezra, if the world was made for our sake, why do we not possess it as an inheritance? How long shall this endure? Ezra pleads for understanding of Yahuwah's ways, expressing sorrow for the downfall of Yisrael. His heart grieves for his people, yet he desires wisdom to comprehend Yahuwah's righteous judgment. And then chapter 4, this was such an amazing chapter. Yahuwah sends the great messenger Uriel to answer Ezra. Uriel rebukes gently, and he says, you cannot comprehend the ways of the Most High, just as you cannot weigh fire or measure the wind, neither can you grasp the plan of Yahuwah. Ezra pushes further, yearning to understand why creation is full of evil and why the righteous are overshadowed by the wicked. Uriel explains that man's understanding is limited, and the mystery of time, judgment, and the fate of the world is beyond mortal grasp. Yet he hints that the end is closer than it appears, and all will be revealed in its season. So guys, let us get into this incredible reading. Let us see what Scriptures tells us today. And we are reading, this is the free Yah Scriptures app. You can go again, anybody with a Google app, Google TV, Google tablet, phone, whatever you have, this works on it. Yah Scriptures, you can download it. It's had over 100 downloads so far, I think. Probably more than that at this point. That was a few days ago. And people are jumping into this app. They love it. Inside of this app, guys, you're going to find like all the Torah commands listed out for you. It is a beautiful book. And this is the Big Blue Book portable version. Has all of this. It has all of the 66, plus it has all of the rest to make a whopping 103 books of truth. Now here we are, 2nd Ezra, chapter 5. Now, this is, again, a conversation between the messenger Uriel and Ezra as they are sitting and talking and discussing this. And Ezra, the great prophet, is he's a hungry guy. He's going to get real hungry here real soon. 5:1. But regarding the signs, see, the days shall come that those who dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of belief. But wickedness shall be increased above that which you see now, or that you have heard long ago. And guys, this is, we're living in this world right now, right? It is filthy. The most beautiful women that you can ever find have their clothes on. All of this, this lewdness, all of this having no mystery of what is underneath the clothes of a woman have been exposed to us because people are hanging out all over, right? Guys dress like total whores. Women are dressing like whores. I know these are hard things to hear, but this is the reality of the world that we are in. We need to keep our family clothed. We need to keep our kids' minds clean. We need to keep our minds clean. There's endless nudity. If you watch this Tell Live Vision program, which I always tell people to shut the TVs off, don't watch this vile stuff, turn the horrible, evil music off, right? There's just not a lot of stuff of Kodesha that is out there. And you're not going to find it in the satanic Disney Channel. You're not going to find it anywhere. It's a mess. Continuing on, 3. And the land, which you now see to have a root, you shall see suddenly laid waste. But if the Most High grant you to live, you shall see after the 3rd trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and a third of the moon in that day. All right, we're hearing a little bit of revelations at this point, and we know, based upon the lifespan of Ezra and how he died, Uriel didn't know when he was going to die. He said that in the last chapter because Ezra's like, well, I live to see this. And Uriel's like, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't know. I don't know when it is. But this is absolutely prophecy that's coming up. 5. And blood shall drip from wood, and stone shall give its cry, and the people shall be troubled. And one shall rule, whom those who dwell upon the earth do not expect. And the birds shall take flight away together. Lots of stuff going on, right? I mean, look at the leaders of the world. Look at the actions of 2019, 2020, and 2021. And continuing on, right? Every single government, every single country was completely complicit with it. And now everybody's backpedaling like, oh, no. You have the father of the you-know-what, and he's now back leading the United States. This is a very, very interesting time that we have in life right now. And you have all these people with their little red hats that say, make America great again, right? And mega is a satanic leveling up. There's mega is not, it's not what it was meant to be. And it's what you're seeing is you're seeing a demonic, satanic, occultic overthrow of anything left of any kind of righteousness. And, unfortunately, the deceived people of North America are just, they're like, make America great again. And, they don't realize what they are doing or who they actually have leading them. And it's very, very sad to see this. It's very, very sad to see the deception that is overtaking the world. 7. And the sea, of Sodom shall throw out fish and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the sound of it. There shall also be confusion in many places, and the fire shall be often sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and the women during uncleanness shall bring forth monsters. I can't go into this because I actually got a YouTube strike years ago because I brought this up. And so I'm not going to bring this up, but I think that for those with ears to hear and eyes to see, this is a very interesting chapter, right? Women during uncleanness shall bring forth monsters. I will leave it at that. And salt water shall be found with the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then knowledge shall hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into a secret room, and shall be sought by many, and yet not be found. Then unrighteousness and lack of self-control shall be multiplied on the earth. Right? This is, it's interesting that the stories that I come up with, which are very much unscripted, the talks that we all have, none of this is planned. What do we just talk about, right? The self-control and the unrighteousness and the destruction and, them trying to take my cubs into darkness, into the same world that they have, and a world where they don't understand what marriage is. They don't understand the bond of a man and a woman. They don't understand what keeping yourself pure is all about. We live in this world, right? Knowledge shall hide itself. Who knows the Torah, right? Nobody knows the Torah. Billions and billions of people in all these different religions, and they have said this is some old fable. It's the old history books. It's good for kids up to 10, and then after that, it's just for history. Nobody cares what the ways of our Creator are. 11. One land shall also ask another, and say, has righteousness that makes a man righteous passed through you? And it shall say, no. At the same time, men shall have expectancy, but do not obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. To show you such signs I have permission. And if you pray again, and weep as now, and fast 7 days, you shall hear yet greater matters. Wow, Ezra's just getting down. He's getting down with this. 14. Then I awoke, and an extreme fear went through my entire body, and my mind was so troubled that I fainted. So the messenger that had come to talk with me held me, comforted me, and stood me up on my feet. Guys, we're in this world right now. The knowledge has been hidden from everybody, right? You have a demonic group of people, the Catholics, that have overtaken the world. And the Catholics are just Luciferians. Their God is Lucifer. And all these Catholics out there are like, that's not true. We love God. Well, if you love God, you need to serve him. If you love Yahuwah, you need to serve him as he wants us to serve him. And it's not in these temples of men. It's not with your black mass. It's not with mass. It's not with sitting and having some guy that cannot forgive you of your sins sitting there he telling you how to do penance, right? It's just devils and demons and doctrines of demons, and it has overtaken all the world. And it's scary. This is the same stuff that Ezra saw, and he passed out cold. He passed out cold. Continuing on, 16. And on the second night it came to be that Shel-Alitir, the leader of the people, came to me, saying, where have you been, and why is your countenance so heavy? Do you not know that Yisrael has entrusted to you in the land of their captivity? Rise therefore and eat bread, and do not forsake us, as the shepherd that leaves his flock in the hands of cruel wolves. So you have a leader of the people that was looking for Ezra. They're like, where did Ezra go? Everybody's lost, right? And Ezra is the guy that was sitting there getting them to keep themselves pure, to get rid of the Gentiles in their midst, to rise up and to do what our Creator has said. And he's freaking out. He's like, where are you at? What are you? Help us. Then I said to him, go away from me and do not come near me. And he heard what I said and went from me. And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, as Uriel the messenger commanded me. And after 7 days it came to be that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous to me again. And my being recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to speak with the Most High again, and said, O Yahuwah, who reigns over every forest of the earth, and all the trees in it, you have chosen your one and only vine. And of all the lands of the whole earth, you have chosen your one cistern. And of all the flowers of it, one lily. And, as you get, for those of us who do a lot of fasting, it's easy to get emotional at a certain point, right? There's a lot of comfort that comes with eating food, but there's also a lot of comfort without eating food. And I would encourage everybody who hasn't fasted, guys, there is a science behind fasting that it absolutely, after you get past day 3, there are cells in your body that are very, very sick, that are destroyed, that are rebuilt. It doesn't happen when you're not fasting. There is a spiritual side of fasting, and there's also a health side of fasting. And yes, it feels very discomforting. It feels very, very bad. When I was on day 3 night, I was shaking. I had the tremors again. It seems like I always get the tremors around day 3. And everything, time goes so slow when you are fasting. But it's important, right? 25. And of all the depths of the sea, you have filled your one river. And of all cities built, you have Kadosh, Zion, unto yourself. And of all the birds that are created, you have named your one dove. And of all the beasts that are made, you have supplied your one sheep. Now, we're talking about Messiah Yahushua in this, right? Anytime that we're talking about sheep, we're always talking about the people of Yisrael. When we're talking about this one sheep, we are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, talking about Messiah Yahushua. And in the previous chapters, Ezra was able to see that one guy that was taller than all the rest, that was crowning these people, the people that represented him, right? And you can't just say, I know Jesus, I know Yahushua, I know Yeshua, right? You can't just say that. You have to live like our Messiah lived and do what our Messiah did. And our Messiah was a law-keeping savage. And guys, again, when I say savage, I'm not saying things in a bad way. A lot of you guys are bent upon this wording of it. When I'm talking about a savage, I am talking the other side of savagery. The kind of savagery where you want to be a killer for the Torah. You want to be one when it says guard the Torah with all your heart, mind, and soul. And that we've been told more than any other verse in scriptures to guard the Torah. You want to be that savage. You want to be that who nobody is able to come to you and tell you different ways, because you know that our Creator has told us over and over and over 53 times in the first 5 books of scriptures, we're told to guard the Torah and the precepts of our Creator. It's something that it's not a mystery to anybody that reads scriptures. You know that's what we are called to do. 27. And among all the multitudes of people, you have chosen your one people. And unto this people whom you loved, you gave a law that is acceptable for all. And yeah, the law of our Creator is beauty. It's a shining river. It is a clear lake. It is one of these things that is of majestic beauty. And when you come to the understanding that the Torah is for you and your family and your life and your soul, it becomes so special in your life that everything must be governed by this Torah. And when you cross into that other side of breaking this Torah, you know you're under the hands of our Creator. You're tempting our Creator because you have tempted His Torah. And we don't want to be those people. We don't want to fall into the Gentile ways. We care what the Torah says. We care what the laws say. We don't care what Paul says. We don't care that people think all food has been made clean. We care about a way that our Creator has said we must care about it. And this is very, very important. 28. And now, Yahuwah, why have you given this one people over to many? And upon one root you have prepared others. And why have you scattered your one and only people among many? And those who denied your promises and did not believe your covenants have trodden them down. If you hated your people so much, should you punish them with your own hands? Ezra's still trying to fight for his people. This is one of the greatest attorneys of all time that we've ever had, other than Messiah Yahushua. Messiah Yahushua is one attorney you do not want to mess with. When it comes to Torah and comes to the ways of our Creator, we don't understand the ways that our Messiah understands, which is why he was so hated among all of these religious zealots that thought they had the way figured out. It's why we, as Yah's people, are hated amongst all these different Gentiles and all these fake religions and all these, not fake religions, they're religions, right? They are doing exactly what their daddy says to do, which is Hasatan. All of these religions, and they're demonic and they're satanic and they're traditions of men, and they need to be cast aside, and we never need to go back into them. We understand what happens to those in these religions. 31. Now when I had spoken these words, the messenger that came to me the night before was sent to me and said to me, hear me, and I shall instruct you. Listen to the word that I speak, and I shall tell you more. And I said, speak on, master. Then he said to me, you are greatly troubled in heart for the sake of Israel. Do you love that people more than he who made them? Woo! Oh, that's hardcore, right? How could he love them more than the actual individual and entity that designed all of us? They gave everybody a beautiful smile, a set of teeth that are arranged so amazingly that we can bite and chew. We have big old molars in the back. We can crush up nuts and things of that nature. We have these tearing things. We have these dog eye teeth that we can rip our meat. We're perfect. We are perfectly designed by a perfect creator who loves us so much that there's nobody that would be able to love us more. There's nobody that would be able to love us more than our designer, our father. And so all of a sudden, this is hardcore stuff, hard stuff to hear for Ezra. 34. And I said, no, master, but of very grief I have spoken, for my kidneys pain me in every hour, while I labor to understand the way of the Most High and to seek out part of his right ruling. And he said to me, you cannot. And I said, why, master? For what was I born then? Or why was my mother's womb not my grave, that I might not have seen the trouble of Yaakov and the weariness toil of the race of Yisrael? And he said to me, number for me that which has not yet come. Gather together for me the dross that is scattered abroad. Make the flowers that are withered green again. Open for me the places that are closed, and bring forth for me the winds that in them are shut up. Show me the image of a voice, and then I shall declare to you that which you labor to know. Wow. How do you see an image of a voice, right? How does anybody able to do any of this stuff, right? The ways of our Creator are so unknown, but yet we live in this sick world that has popes and has preachers that sit and lie to us and take our money for 10%, worshiping on the wrong days, telling us these sweet things that tickle our ears, that lead us astray. We go up for this altar call. We hear the organ music and the piano music, and we feel this thing we think is holiness. But you know what? Hasatan, the devil himself, was the master musician, and he knows how to move people. He knows how to move and groove them in such a way that he is brainwashing every single person into thinking that salvation is merely a choice, that all we have is no set of works, that we don't have our works that are showing our abilities of using the Torah in such a way, and they'll clearly tell you, oh, your works won't save you. It clearly saved Abram. It clearly saved Isaac. It clearly saved Jacob. And it clearly saved everybody prior to our Messiah that was out there, because that's the only way that they were showing their faithfulness to our Creator, was by doing his will. So if it saved all of them, why don't we do and live their example and try to make ourselves the very best people that we can make ourselves by doing the same thing? If it's able to save our forefathers and foremothers from the wrath of the hand of the Most High, then why shouldn't we include that with our Messiah to make it a full lane highway? Because you can't just make it with Messiah Yahushua. Messiah Yahushua says without the laws, you're told to depart. Go away, go to hell. That's what he clearly says. Matthew 7 says that. So, continuing on, 38. And I said, O Yahuwah who reigns, who may know these, but he whose dwelling is not with men. As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of these matters of which you ask me? Then he said to me, as you are unable to do any of these that I have spoken of, even so you cannot find out my judgment, or the love in the end that I have promised to my people. And I said, O Yahuwah, you are still near to those who are reserved till the end. But what shall they do who have been before me? or we who are here now, or those who shall come after us? And he said to me, I shall liken my judgment to a circle, and there is no slackness for the last. Even so, there is no swiftness for the first. This is big stuff, right? This is trying to understand what our Creator is saying, right? What do we know about a circle? Well, we know about a circle, there's no end and there's no start. It just goes round and round and round. And our Creator says there's no swiftness for the first, right? When you are as patient as our Creator is, and we know that a day is 1,000 years for him, this is nothing in the terms of time that he has been around. This is it. There's nothing here. What he's given to us seems like eternity. It seems like forever. It seems like these days are years and years are decades. It just seems like we're here for a very long time. Imagine the days of Adam when he lived to be 1,000 years old, and all the patriarchs of back in the day. That was a long time, but yet for our Creator, it's only a day. So, 43. So I answered and said, could you not make those who have been made and are now, and who are to come at once, that you might show your judgment sooner? Then he answered me and said, the creature cannot hasten more than the maker. Neither could the world hold at once those who shall be created within. And I said, as you have said to your servant, that you, who gives life to all, have given life at once to the creatures that you have created. And the creation bore it. Even so, it might also bear those who are now present at once. So essentially, Ezra's like, why can't we just all be born right now and all this land and everything? Why can't we just do this now? Why can't we get through all of this right now? And this is our human thought, right? These are our thoughts that we have. And we don't understand the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator, and we never will. 46. And he said to me, ask the womb of a woman and say to her, if you bring forth children, why not do them all together, but one after another? Ask her, therefore, to bring forth 10 children at once. And I said, she cannot, but must do it over a span of time. Then he said to me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those who are sown in it in their times. For as a young child cannot bring forth those that belong to the aged, even so have I subjected the world which I created. And I said, and I asked and said, seeing you have now given me an occasion, I shall proceed to speak before you. For our mother, of whom you have told me that she is young, now draws near to age. He answered me and asked, ask a woman that bears children, and she shall tell you. Say to her, why are those whom you have now brought forth like those who were before, but smaller in size? And she shall answer you, those who are born in the strength of youth are of one form, and those who are born in the time of age, when the womb fails, are otherwise. Consider yourself also, therefore, how you are less of stature than those who were before you. And so are those who come after you lesser than you? As the creation which now begins to age and has passed over the strength of youth? Then I said, please, Yahuwah, if I have found favor in your sight, show your servant by whom you visit your creation. So the last thing is Ezra wants to see Yahuwah, right? He wants to be seen by his Creator, and that's going to be an incredible moment for all of us if we are deemed worthy enough to actually see our Creator and to see our Father, our real Father. A parent that has never let us down, a parent that has never done bad things like all of us parents do. A parent that is just and righteous and loves us with everything that he has. That's the final request that Ezra has. And guys, as we get through this book, it's only going to get better. The things that we hear are only going to become more vivid. The understanding of life and of death are going to become very, very clear. And I thank our Creator that he has given us the opportunity to read books like this, that he's preserved them throughout all of this. A lot of people know this book is Fourth Ezra. And it is literally the last of the writings that we know of Ezra that is so deep, so awe-inspiring, that it is something that we can't thank our Creator enough for giving us a brief glimpse into the world before and the world that comes after. And especially, one of the most things I'm thankful for is the world after we take our final breath. We're going to be explaining this. We're going to be reading it in the chapters to come. Ezra just came off a 7-day fast. He was fasting before. This dude is a savage for the word. He's a savage for our Creator. And this is what our Creator does, is he finds those who are worthy of these discussions. And as you fast and as you seek our Creator, where he's able to be found, he will talk in ways that are just out of this world. And so, guys, it's always been a pleasure. It's always an honor to sit with you guys. I get so excited about it when I read these words, when I read this stuff. This stuff is exciting to me. And I hope it's exciting to you. I hope it's something that changes you guys, that will allow you guys to see something that is most of the world will never see. Most of the world doesn't even care about, right? So with that, I love y'all. Shalom, shalom.